It feels a bit warm up here, and it's pretty quiet. I've seen two retail outlets in prime locations that are empty, so I don't think the economy's going exactly gangbusters right now. So things could be better. Still got my discounted Guinness, the first one I've had for months. So same barmaid at PJ's. Got a quote on getting insulation in the ceiling. It was about double what I was expecting, so that was a little bit of a shock, and that's even with a discount. So yeah, but the guy at least turned up and gave me a quote. I've sent off 2 other requests and haven't heard a thing back, but that sort of thing can happen up here. So there's some pretty slack people, but they were pretty keen, that guy, and he came in. He seemed like he knew what he's doing. He got very good reviews online, so at least he's interested in doing the job. It's a bit of a pity because a few years ago there were quite hefty government subsidies to having insulation done to existing properties, but they finished up probably about 5 years or more ago. So the golden days of insulation are over, unfortunately, so I have to pay out of my own pocket. I think it's a bit unfair in a way that they're giving these green subsidies for people with green power and what have you. If you're actually saving energy this way, it's just as legitimate as putting in solar panels, for instance. So, although I think also some of those other subsidies are going to, it's just given the way the economy's going, they can't afford those indulgences anymore. But of course, the federal Liberals are continuing on with the subsidies until next year, which I think is disgraceful. But again, I think that Morrison is basically a green globalist. He's one of Turnbull's mob. He agrees with Turnbull on a lot of things, and don't be fooled into think the man's a conservative, because he's not. So I think people are starting to wake up to that fact of the abysmal way he's treated farmers and the rural sector in general. He doesn't want to lift a finger to help them. He's a prick. So I think that's disgraceful. You'd probably rather have people in Beijing own our land than Aussies. I think people like that we shouldn't vote for. We need to vote for people who are going to put this country first, not their own interests first. And that's how Turnbull operates, and I think that's how Morrison operates too. Oh, that was good timing. I just missed the school rush, so I got the supermarket shopping done pretty quickly. It's quite quiet down there actually, so that's the way to go, I think, in the future. Got another quote for the insulation. It came through at about the same price, about $9.50, and I told him 70 square metres. It's a little bit more than that, so I think they're pretty well line ball, both quotes, so that's good, because the first guy seemed pretty conscientious. He actually came round and quoted me. It's more than I was hoping for, but at least they're consistent, so that makes me feel a bit better. Still haven't got another one in writing from the original guy, but I'll just remind him that I want a quote. And as soon as he puts one through in writing, I think I'll probably go with that. So might as well get as much benefit out from it that I can. I also almost cleaned out all the glycerin sauce mussels from Coles. I bought 10 packs of it, and I have actually devoured 2 of them. I really do like it. I'm down to 8 packs, and I want to take a few to Vietnam. So I don't know how long the special's going for, and I'm probably, like I say, I'll probably bleed them out of stock anyway. So, and they don't stock them at Woolworths. They don't even have them. So my only option is here. And I guess as I was really creative, I could go to I could go all the way up to what's it called, West. I can't even remember the damn name of the suburb. Just up north. Anyway, there's another Coles up there, but I'm not going to walk all the way up there. Just Westcourt. I'm not going to go to bloody Westcourt just to get extra mussels. I'm not quite that bad yet. I've got it bad, but not that bad. and I've got to get onto the ANZ about my credit card, because it's supposed to be renewed in March this year, and I'll be OS when they send it through, so I better get that sorted as well. But yeah, I'm happy I got the other quote now anyway, so as long as I know the guy's not ripping me off, I'm happy. If you have to pay $900 to get insulation put in, you have to. Simple as that. He also got himself a pizza, which I haven't had for a few months, and some red wine. Again, I haven't had that since Spain, but I had plenty of it then. So I've been off the red wine for about 3 weeks or so it's not too bad. But this particular wine, the Hardies I get, this is 1 litre bottle, which is great, but if I have a couple of bottles, you know, in the 1 week, it tends to, my body doesn't like having too much of it, so I don't know, there's some chemical in there that I don't react well to. It's good to mix and match alcohol anyway. And I'll probably get myself a slab of Hoegaarden while I'm here, because although it's not too expensive in Vietnam, I actually was able to buy the bottle or can for what was it? Was it the equivalent of it's about maybe $2, probably less, no, less than $2 equivalent, probably about $1.80, which is cheaper than you get anywhere here, so it's not too bad. But that's only at the Archen supermarket. I don't think you'd be able to get it at a normal co-op, but I might be wrong. The one in District 3 doesn't have that big a stock. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm that desperate to get it before I go back overseas. It's the first day I've been out for 2 days. I've got a bit of a throat thing. It's not really that's caused me to stay indoors, but just been slack. I'll have plenty of time to explore when I'm overseas again fairly soon. I have got a few things achieved. I got my 3-month deep visa organised. At least I paid for money for it. It's only $15 US to get that arranged, and so that should hopefully be available for me either today or Monday, I think. So that'll be good. And what I was going to do is get a multiple entry visa, but it's a ridiculous situation you've got in Vietnam, where if you get a multiple entry visa, rather than getting 3 months, you get 85 days. Work that out. And you've got to pay double the stamping fee, so it's actually not 25 US, it's $50 US. So, and on top of all that, I've discovered that travelling by air around the time of Tet in Vietnam is horrendously expensive. Everybody's on the move for a few days prior to actual Tet and after Tet, so I'm starting to reevaluate what I'm going to do. I might even go to Bung Tao and stay somewhere like offshore, the offshore pub. I'm just sent them an email asking them that they're going to be open, but that might be a nice change of pace, so I might do that. I'm not sure. But yeah, Tet's really thrown everything up. It might still be better for me just to stay in Saigon. It might be more happening there than in Bung Tao, but I just want to get an idea of that, so I won't commit to any of that until I actually arrive in Vietnam and do a bit of fact finding. But for 1 week at least, Tet's going to make Saigon fairly dull. Now I'm not sure whether the bars are going to be open. I assume that they would try to stay open, but the trouble is, all the girls that work there, well, you'd think maybe they've gone half-staffed, because those girls would be going home for the Tet celebrations. They don't get many holidays as it is, so it would not surprise me if you have a whole lot of those girls leaving, so they wouldn't have any staff basically. So yeah, it's a real logistical nightmare. You've got to be planning ahead for it, and even though I'm a few months out, it's probably not enough, because you know, it's an annual event, and people in Vietnam probably plan 6 months ahead or more, I don't know. So to get the ferry to Bung Tau is not too difficult, so I do decide to go somewhere else for that week. But again, I might be better off staying in Saigon, so I was just going to make all these decisions. Another thing happened, I relented and actually booked a property, just a room in a condo in central Saigon through Airbnb. I haven't used them for well in excess of a year, but I've got to say the rate was very good. I was tossing it up between that and another property, but the other property was nicer, but the location initially looked really good, but when on closer inspection, I don't know how this happened, but the host had it actually on the map in the wrong location. You get a darkened circular area showing roughly where the property is, and it was not in the right part of town. By going on their description, it was near a university for humanities and social sciences, which was in a different district. It was probably just across the bridge in a different district. I liked it because it had a private balcony, but it did cost more than the other place, a couple of $100 a month more. What was great about the one I snared for a month was that I got a 40% discount for making a monthly booking. And the funny thing is, a lot of the times you'll find that a lot of these hosts are really stingy when it comes to providing discounts for longer term stays. Some of them just give you like maybe 3 or 5%. It's just laughable. This woman, others give about 10 or 20, which is reasonable, but this is the best I've seen, 40% discount. So it should have cost over $1,000 for the month and ended up costing about $670. So pretty good, and it looks like a nice room. She seems like a reasonably conscientious host. The only thing that worries me is that they allow parties on the premises, so I hope it isn't too noisy. That could be a problem, but the location is excellent and the price is right, and if I don't like it for a month, I'll go somewhere else. But I also booked a hostel also in a great location, which does have a balcony, and that was for the first 2 weeks. It's nice to do that. That was through booking.com. I found out that this mob I could have booked actually through Airbnb, and if I do any more bookings I'll do it through them, because I know that they're legitimate professional people leasing out their place, so you don't have to worry about the fact that you use an Airbnb. The great advantage of Airbnb too is that I don't have to take as much cash overseas, because they will take it directly out of your credit card, so that I don't have to have a bulging wallet of cash, which is obviously does have its downsides. So for me it's a better system. So I'll probably end up using Airbnb again unless I have a disaster with the place I booked, and I might even stay at that place. The only other slight downside is that there's not that much natural light into the room. It looks nice, but it's not exactly bathed in natural light, so not perfect, but looks pretty comfortable, and as long as the neighbours aren't too noisy, it might turn out to be a great place. Certainly a great location. So, and that's where the other place, I tried to get a clarification from the host, but when you don't have proper, when they don't speak great English and I don't speak Vietnamese, it's difficult to communicate. So I'm not saying the other place wouldn't have been sort of okay. I mean, it's still much closer than District 7. It would only be like probably about a 5-minute grab bike ride to get where I want to go. So it's like about a fifth of the distance, and it'd probably only cost I don't know, it'd be ridiculously cheap. You might be pushing about 20,000 dong, something ridiculous like that. So it's not bad, but I'd still rather be in an area where I could sort of walk everywhere. I could walk to the pub, to the bars from there, but going home I'd need to get a grab bike, which is not a problem. I didn't have a problem getting it last trip, and for such a short distance it's not an issue. So yeah, I mean, I decided to save money initially, and I might even stay at that other place. The thing is, if I'm going to stay for a month, I might as well stay at a place that's going to give me a whopping discount, which is what I'm getting. So that's good too. And I'm now booked in for the having the insulation put in. It's going to be done next Thursday morning at 6 AM. So I'll make sure I get up really early next Thursday. And so I finally bitten the bullet and going to go ahead with that. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you think there's anything there of use to you, or entertainment or whatever. And either do that or give me a thumbs up, or if you're feeling really energetic, do both. That'd be great. But please don't ignore me. That's the worst thing you can do on YouTube, is be ignored.